EU leaders have reaffirmed their continuing support of Ukraine in its defence against Russian aggression. Leaders wrapped up an informal summit in Prague that they said had also moved the bloc closer to finding common steps to averting an energy crisis this winter. Here's EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
I'm very encouraged that we managed yesterday to close the latest rounds of hard-biting sanctions against Russia in record time. Once again, we've moved fast and we have moved with force. We've made progress on the oil price cap. With our enhanced export ban, we continue to undermine Putin's ability to wage war in Ukraine. And with our widened import ban, we deprive him further of important revenues.
And we can cross straight to DW's Alexandra von Namen, who joins us now from Prague. Hi, Alexandra. Now, Ursula von der Leyen really stressed the unity between all leaders at this summit. Is that a fair assessment, would you say?
Well, I would say that the EU has managed to stay united with its support for Ukraine and, of course, with the sanctions that they are keeping, introducing. Ursula von der Leyen spoke about the new round of sanctions that the leaders approved here. This is the package number 8, aimed at closing existing loopholes and increasing the pressure on the regime in Moscow. However, we also have to say that it's clear that it is becoming increasingly difficult to go further and that there are a few member states who think that what's been done is enough. For instance, Hungary and the Prime Minister there, he has claimed, for instance, that it is a small European elite that is responsible for the sanctions, that he would like to have a referendum on the sanctions. However, we of course have to say that Viktor Orban was always at the table when those decisions were made. So unity, yes, but we also see some divisions that, of course, the Kremlin is attempting to exploit.
Now, following the talks, we saw a press conference where the main topics were summarised. Can you give us a sense of what the most important points that were made?
Well, I think that the most important point was here indeed that EU leaders made clear that they were determined to continue supporting Ukraine with military and financial assistance as long as it takes. They listened to the Ukrainian President Zelensky, to his concerns. And of course, at the top of the agenda here was the energy crisis. And here we have to say that it seems to be difficult to find a solution. As French President Emmanuel Macron put it, there is no magic wand to tackle the energy crisis.
That's putting it mildly. Now, Germany, of course, has been drawing a lot of criticism for announcing its own energy aid package, and that's actually something that Chancellor Scholz addressed in his press conference a little earlier. So we're going to take a quick listen to what he had to say.
It's clear that every market intervention and every price cap automatically raises questions about the security of energy supplies. That's why we have to discuss these things in great detail. We have agreed that the energy ministers will examine the advantages and disadvantages of the proposals. And we will discuss this at the next European Council meeting in Brussels.
So more examining, more discussing. What did you make of what the Chancellor had to say, Alexandra?
Scholz was very diplomatic here, not saying straight away that Germany is still opposing a price cap on gas, but that was actually what his message was. So Germany is open for discussions, but still warning against any intervention in the markets. Instead, the German Chancellor seems to be convinced that the better way to solve the crisis is to speak with other nations who are also reliable, who also rely on gas or other energy sources, of course, and it will make more sense from his perspective to speak to those both nations to find a common solution and not to have a cap that could alienate reliable suppliers like Norway, for instance.
Alexandra, thank you. That's Alexandra von Namen reporting from Prague.